Assalamu alaikum and good evening. This is Ishan Isaac with Ishan on air every Sunday, 6 p.m. and onwards. And we have a great program lined up today and a lot to cover. So I'll just dive right into some key aspects of this 1798 law that was invoked during the wars, the War of 1812, and then First World War and Second World War. And now at this time, we are seeing the same issue where the United States of America is not at war. However, the current administration and President Trump has invoked this act called the Alien Enemies Act, or the AEA. And under this act, this gives the president wartime powers, and Woodrow Wilson has used it beyond the time of the war, several years after. It continued, and even President Truman, he also did that. In this situation, it's very interesting because right now the United States of America is not at war. However, this has been invoked, and it's impacting a lot in terms of what's happening. So the first one, I would start with the mass deportations, but even people who are here legally, and some have been rounded up and even spent time in jail or in detention centers. Dr. Rasha Alaway, she was deported, exposes U.S. immigration anti-Muslim bias. She basically is another example of where this 34-year-old, she's a doctor, a kidney transplant specialist, and she was deported, and she was on a work visa, H-1B. Now, as many of our colleagues are also saying, that she has special skill sets, and U.S. District Judge Lee Smokin, he also basically said that an appointee of former President Barack Obama had issued an order hearing her removal from Massachusetts without 48 hours notice to the court, and requiring her to brought to a scheduled hearing. So this happened without a hearing. So this is alarming for Americans and for everyone who is for legal immigration and for legal due process of law. Again, Dr. Alloway is a Lebanese citizen, detained, and she was detained at Boston's Logan International Airport from returning from a family visit to Lebanon. Now, many of her colleagues have also come out and said that she has left a significant gap in Rhode Island's healthcare system. Well, go figure, talk to the residents and citizens in Rhode Island, especially because she was treating over 300 to 400 patients who are currently awaiting kidney transplants. And Dr. Douglas Sherman, as I'm sharing his picture and information on the screen as well. So those of you who don't follow me on YouTube, please subscribe my YouTube channel, Zishan On Air. And then also we are live on Facebook Live as well. It was basically reported that her visa basically was revoked because the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, later justified her removal by alleging that Dr. Alaway had quote, sympathetic photos and videos, unquote, of Hezbollah figures on her phone. And then it was also basically reported by a Muslim advocacy group, and they argue that attending a funeral, a deeply religious obligation in Islam, does not constitute a security threat. A lot of civil rights and individual rights and immigration rights attorneys, they are also calling it out. Okay, well, in that case, let's just have her due process of law. Let's put her in front of a judge. But this is not happening as we speak. So another information on the same, this doctor, that basically a single judge, quote, a single judge in a single city cannot direct the movement of an aircraft, unquote, said White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. So this is another situation where the judges are issuing orders, they're doing their jobs. However, this whole thing is done in a very rapid manner, and that's which is raising a lot of eyebrows and red flags. Then she is not the only one. There are many others. the situation with the Mahmoud Khalil. He is a Colombian grad student, and all he did basically that he organized this encampment and this protest for Palestine, and he was picked up. And Noor Abdullah interviewed his wife, who is pregnant and due next month, and she's afraid that her first child would not be able to see, you know, the dad, her or his dad. And this is where Mahmoud Khalil is a permanent resident. He's a green card holder, and the administration has not charged him with anything at this point. He was also the lead negotiator between the students, protesters, and the Colombian university's administration. Trump is seeking to deport another academic who is legally in the country. Lawsuit says this is a Georgetown University professor, and this fellow is an Indian national. And this is another situation where his name is Suri, and Suri's lawyers have also signed in his petition that he's being prohibited because of the Palestinian heritage of his wife. So, although the doctor himself is of Indian descent, and I'm sharing this obviously news on the website as well, and also on social media. So those of you who follow me through YouTube, please subscribe and share with others. Dr. Khan Suri is an Indian national who was duly granted a visa to enter the United States to continue his doctoral research on peace building in Iraq and Afghanistan, a Georgetown spokesperson said in a statement. So this is another situation that is happening as we speak. And there's some more details. Masked agents arrested Badr Khan Suri, an Indian national and postdoctoral fellow, outside his home in Roseland, Virginia on Monday night. His lawyer said in a lawsuit fighting for his immediate release. The agents identified themselves as being with the Department of Homeland Security and told him the government had revoked his visa, the lawsuit says. And then this French incident with the French research minister, his basically phone was, I would say, collected while he was entering to the United States borders. And this French researcher was also denied entry because he was critical of President Trump. And as we can see, the Guardian news, they are definitely doing everything that they can. So they're saying that for the first time, everybody was frightening me. And in the first term, everybody wants to be my friend, unquote. That's what they quoted about as Trump himself. So ABC News, they basically solved this lawsuit with President Trump, $15 million he paid him. And then right now, this whole situation with regards to independent news outlets. So the Guardian, as you can see on the screen, their editor, and Betsy Reeds, she is the editor of Guardian US, they are saying that they will take whatever steps and whatever they can to make sure that the independent news and especially independent coverage is covered through the Guardian news. So I wanted to just share this as well in terms of these nuances of the mainstream media, how they're covering the information and the news, and then how independent outlets are covering it. Judge raises concern about Trump's use of wartime powers for deportations. This is James Boasberg, and he is definitely someone that President Trump would like to impeach and wants his Department of Justice to impeach him. And that's where John Roberts, the U.S. Supreme Court Chief Justice, has issued a statement as well, which I will cover it in a moment. A federal judge said Friday he was troubled by the Trump administration use of wartime powers to remove alleged Venezuelan gang members from the U.S. as he considers whether to extend a temporary block on mass deportations under that authority. And I quote U.S. District James Boasberg. He said, I quote, "I agree the policy ramifications of this are incredibly troublesome and problematic and concerning," unquote. So American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, they are also are the challengers to the administration's actions. And at the end of the day, even people who may just have tattoos of Real Madrid. This is a soccer player, and he basically was picked up, and he has no uh, criminal activity. Not only him, but then, as you can see on the screen, this is Jasmine Mooney. She's a Canadian, and she wrote her entire story in The Guardian. I'm the Canadian who was detained by ICE, that's Immigration and Custom Enforcement, for 2 weeks. It felt like I had been kidnapped. She also said I had taken to a tiny freezing cement cell with bright fluorescent lights and a toilet. There were 5 other women lying on their mats with the aluminum sheets wrapped over them, looking like dead bodies. The guard locked the door behind me. And you can read her article, just Google it. James Mooney, she's a Canadian citizen, and she wrote her entire ordeal in The Guardian. And then the French scientist denied US entry after phone messages critical of Trump found, reported by The Guardian. Then NBC News has reported German national with US green card detained in ICE facility, family says. And Fabian Schmidt was arrested and interrogated at the Boston airport. So Germans, Canadians, French, and then even British tourists in US chained coat like Hannibal Lecter. And this is Becky Burke and her parents, Andrea Burke and Paul Burke. They shared their story on BBC News. So this is all happening, and this is her picture. She has been released now. And quote, on Monday, she was taken from the detention facility to a location close to the airport, ready to be taken to the plane, unquote, Mr. Burke said. And as you can see now, Becky Burke is playing with her dog, and she has been released. I would say that at this point, a lot is happening. And if you know people who are green card holders and they are permanent residents, use this website, US Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. They have literally created this online detainee locator. So this online detainee locator is all about entering the A number, alien number, and some demographics, country of birth, or first name, last name. So you can also Google this as well. Trump's US government erases minorities from websites and policies that basically talks about DEI. A lot of it has been talked about using AI not only for against the students who are protesting for Palestine, but also with regards to DEI, where the code talkers recruited by the US Navy in 1942 test the use of their indigenous language, whose complex structure made it an almost impossible to crack down wartime code. So this is where all under DEI, all that information has been removed from the websites. Earlier this month, Civil War historian Kevin M. Levine reported that Arlington National Cemetery had begun to wipe its website with the histories of Black, Hispanic, and women war veterans. And then Levin said, quote, this insanity must stop, unquote, woke culture Marxism, unquote. So this is where veterans, they're also from different minorities, are somehow being wrapped up into this DEI situation where their services to the U.S. Army and to various branches of the armed forces have been wiped out from this entire episode of removing and erasing history, as being reported by many news outlets, including Yahoo News. And then among the more than 26,000 items marked to be removed were references to the Enola Gay. So this is another interesting, this US aircraft that dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima, Japan in 1945, apparently because the plane's name triggered a digital search for word associated with LGBT inclusion, because the name just mentioned Enola Gay. So this is what's happening. Other content removed by the Pentagon included stories on the Tuskegee Airmen, who were the first American first African American military aviators, and baseball legend and veteran Jackie Robinson, who was the first black and person to basically play in Major League Baseball. So another information, DEI, where Pentagon on Wednesday said it saluted the individuals but refused to see, quote, them through the prism of immutable characteristics, unquote. Quote, DEI is a form of woke cultural Marxism that divides the force, erodes unit cohesion, and interferes with the service's core warfighting mission, unquote, said Pentagon Press Secretary John Elliott. And then, with regards to erasing the stories of Navajo code talkers, Black Lives Matter, and then diversity, equity, inclusion programs, even some, crackdown of DEI initiatives at the Pentagon has been broad, and this broad initiative, ranging from a ban on recruiting transgender troops, a move stayed by a court this week, to removing vast troves of documents and images from its website. So this is a chilling effect, I would say, and even with regards to DEI programs and the ACLU, and we'll continue to see. In other news, London Heathrow Airport was closed on Friday, by far and biggest disruption in decades. And as you can see on the screen as well, Heathrow is the world's fourth busiest airport. Atlanta is the first, Dallas, then Dubai International, not Dallas. Dubai International is the second one. So Atlanta with 63 million passengers in 2024, being the largest and the busiest airport. I wouldn't say the largest, but definitely the busiest. Atlanta is number one. Then Dubai International with 60 million. Tokyo with 55 million. London Heathrow is at 52 million. And Dallas is then at 51.5. And then comes Denver, 49.5 million. So these are the world's busiest airports. And then London Heathrow that caused a lot of disruption, and there would be a ripple effect for a couple of days, and some experts and aviation experts are saying for weeks. In some other news, Schumer is facing growing calls from Democrats to resign over cowardice because of the spending bill that was passed, and the leadership is definitely under a lot of attack, and a lot of people are criticizing the Democratic leadership, including the leadership in the House as well. But Schumer definitely is getting a lot of brunt, and Democrats and many independents are not happy with regards to the leadership that the Democrats are displaying right now, those who are elected in DC. U.S. happiness sinks as more Americans eat alone. Survey, this is from Barron, so very credible survey. And United States fell to its lowest happiness ranking ever, partly due to a rise in the number of Americans eating their meals alone. An annual UN-sponsored report said Thursday. And then Afghanistan is the worst since the Taliban regained control in 2020, once again ranked as the unhappiest country in the world. The United States fell to 24th place. This is where we are. Its lowest score since the report was first published in 2012, when it recorded its highest showing at number 11. The number of people dining alone in the United States has increased 53% over the past 2 decades, as the author said. And then who are the happiest countries? Well, Nordic countries all stayed among the 10 happiest, with Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, trailing Finland, which slightly extended its lead over runner-up Denmark. And meanwhile, Costa Rica and Mexico entered the top 10 for the first time at the 6th and 10th spot, respectively. So interesting information, right? So we as Americans, we should also be looking at how can we improve our lives, and how can we help each other, and especially the elderly population and those who are eating alone, because social interaction is so important. So these are some of the other things that the government or the Trump administration should be looking at. But unfortunately, they're focusing on other areas, and an election have consequences. But the good news for some depressed Democrats, they find hope at Bernie Sanders rallies. So AOC and Bernie Sanders, they have been rallying, and they rallied in Denver. thousands of people, and then they went to Tempe, and which is in Arizona, and they received thousands more. And in some rallies, they are getting 32,000, which Senator Bernie Sanders said that it's unbelievable and it's incredible, because when he ran for uh, when he ran for the highest office of the land, for the president of the United States of America twice, he even never saw that many people, thousands. Although Feel the Burn and all those supporters of Bernie, they certainly, were completely, I would say, focused and engaged and part of his campaign. So he is now going to all these red states as well, and fighting oligarchy. That's the theme. So that's some hopeful news. And as you can see in some of the pictures, Ocasio-Cortez says Republicans are stealing Americans' benefits to pay for tax cuts for billionaires. So with that, I would say that people who are paying attention and worried and anxious about what's happening as we speak, from mass deportations to even people who are getting into this whole aspect of getting detained or even getting deported, and those who are coming legally, and then those like, for example, this Canadian woman, Jasmine Mooney, who is now facing a 5-year ban. She cannot even apply for even a visa for next 5 years, because she had some issues with her prior work visa, but she was there to renew her visa, and then she was just detained. So look her up as well in terms of her story. So these are some of the stories that are some of them, but there are countless stories as well. And all I can say is that if people are not going to contact their elected officials, both Democrats and Republicans and independents, and not going to ask them the right questions, then we will continue to see more hawkish and even more strict anti-immigration policies that would come out of this administration. So it's up to the people, and it's all up to us, we the people. And at the end of the day, it's all about ensuring that public opinion matters. And there is speech, there is freedom of speech as well, but a lot of non-citizens, they are finding themselves at crossroads, and in fact at the wrong side of the law, where their freedom of speech or expression is definitely costing them their livelihoods, and costing them to spend time in detention centers. And this is what's happening. So I'm just reporting. So I report, you decide, and please share this with your friends and family and those who you care. And all of this is not possible, obviously, without our great advertisers and sponsors. So I would like to mention them and give a shout out to AITinsurance.com, affordable insurance of Texas. If you need any kind of homeowners insurance, commercial insurance, business insurance, and auto insurance, especially where they specialize, and even I would say health insurance, contact Affordable Insurance of Texas for all your insurance needs, AITinsurance.com, or call them directly, 713-785-4000, 713-785-4000. That's Affordable Insurance of Texas, or you can log on and even call them from anywhere in the United States. And their web address is AITinsurance.com, Affordable Insurance of Texas. Roopsari. Roopsari is a local store here in Houston, Greater Houston area. However, you can go online and order online, and that's where roopsari.com, ROOPSARI.com. Men's trendy outfits and a lot of collection for women and girls, and then people from all different age groups, and especially for men, they have shalwar kameez, very formal wear, as well as traditional kurta pajamas, and a lot of trendy outfits. So roopsari.com, you can check them out. And then Famous Food Products, famousfoodproducts.com, and famousfoodproducts.com is their web address. However, Famous Foods, they have 2,500 products, and they partner with the many recognized brand names like Unilever, Nestle, Dilpasan, Shizan, K&N's, National, EBM, Allegro, Pakola, Jaza by Junaid Jamshed, Dilpasan Sweets, and then even Sheikh Abdul Wahid from Delhi. For more information, call 281-568-4200. Contact Mr. Wahid Lala, 281-568-4200, and their location is 10507 Kinghurst Street. With that, I'm signing off from the social media and joining with the continuing the program, obviously, with the traditional media. So with that, stay tuned here on the radio station, and then signing off from the social media. So thank you, and please share, subscribe, and connect with me on social media through YouTube as well as from Facebook, Zishan On Air. Thank you.